All right, if you are thinking of living in Cedar City, Utah or the surrounding areas, stick around because today we're going to talk about property taxes and what you can expect here in Cedar City, Utah, as well as Iron County in general. All right, let's get to it. So if this is your first time to this channel, we talk about everything there is to know about living in Cedar City, Utah and the surrounding areas. My name is Elizabeth Prisby. I'm with Stratum Real Estate Group. If you are interested in making a move here, please find my information down below in the description. I'd be more than happy to help you make that move. All right, so let's discuss property taxes here in Cedar City, Utah and what you can expect if you are going to be purchasing a home here. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how property taxes are determined. Well, property taxes in Iron County are determined by the Iron County Assessor's Office. The Assessor's Office determines the fair market value of a property. Now, what is fair market value? Well, that's essentially what a buyer and a seller agree upon in a transaction to sell or purchase that property without any other outside influence on that property. They determine this for over 43,000 homes within Iron County every single year. They take the fair market value based on the property as of January 1st of that calendar year. Meaning if on January 1st it was a piece of land, but on November 30th, there was a house built upon it, that property is going to be assessed based on the land value and not the home value because that's what it was at the beginning of the year on January 1st. Now that leads us to when this bill will go out. The actual bill for this is not sent out until November 1st of that calendar year, and it is due November 30th of the same calendar year. So in essence, you're paying for the property taxes for the whole year you've already lived in the home. What I mean by that is, let's say it's calendar year 2023. The property is assessed based on that January 1st date and what condition the property was in. Then you will receive a bill on November 1st for that assessed market value of the property, and that bill will be due on November 30th of that same calendar year. All right, so now that we know when they assess the property, when they bill for the property taxes, and when those are due, let's discuss what happens if you purchase the home, let's say May 1st of 2023. The escrow company will actually prorate those fees. So what I mean by that is, let's say you are closing May 1st. The seller has lived in the home for 4 months, January, February, March, April. Well, we don't know the assessed value of that property yet for 2023, so the escrow company is going to take what the assessed value was in 2022. Let's say it was $2,000 for that property. They will then take that $2,000 and they will divide it up over 365 days. Then they will take that dollar amount and they'll multiply that by the number of days the seller lived in the home for that calendar year. So let's say the seller lived in the home for 120 days of 2023. The seller will pay for 120 days of property taxes, and that credit will be given to the buyer at settlement when closing occurs. Now, if you're purchasing the property towards the end of the year when property taxes are becoming due, that can get a little bit more tricky depending on the date the closing is happening. So the escrow company could be pulling fees from the buyer or the seller. It's dependent on when it is closing, but definitely ask the question if you have it. I'm more than happy to help you, as well as your escrow officer. I'm sure they would be willing to help you understand that as well. So it's a little bit different when it comes to construction as well, and that can get tricky also. What I mean by that is, remember when I said that property is assessed based on what it is on January 1st and the condition it is in? Well, let's say on January 1st, it was a plot of land and there was no structure on it at all. But you purchase a home on the property come June 1st. So your property taxes will likely be lower that first year because they're going to be based on the assessed value of the land and not the home that now sits on the land. So something to keep in mind there. One thing I want to make sure I note is that the escrow company is a neutral third party. They are there to handle closing documents and distribute funds to the appropriate people. The escrow company does not hold any funds after closing. Sometimes people will confuse them with escrow lending. And what I mean by that is a lot of times your mortgage company or your lender will include something in the escrow account that will allow them to pay your property taxes out yearly when they are due. So for example, that was one of the things I asked for from my lender. I wanted to make sure that that wasn't something hanging over my head throughout the year that I had to tuck away for. I wanted it rolled into my monthly mortgage payment so that I knew they would just handle it at the end of the year. Now, you can check with your lender and see if that is something that they offer, or if you don't want it that way and you want to pay it separate, you can ask them that as well. If you are a cash buyer, of course, you're going to have to stay on top of that and make sure you are getting those paid when they are due on November 30th. All right, so what can you expect to pay for property taxes in Iron County? Well, I'm going to throw up a list here of the rates you can expect for the different areas. So basically what will happen is you will take the taxable value of your home. And what I mean by that is if it's your primary residence, then you get an exemption credit. So for example, if your home is worth $100,000, but it's your primary residence, that means you're only going to be taxed on 55% of that $100,000. Then you're going to take that 55% and multiply it by that tax rate in your area, and that will give you the property tax you can expect to pay. Now, in order to make sure that you get that exemption, you'll want to make sure that you fill out the document with the Iron County assessors showing that that is your primary residence. But essentially, if those documents are recorded showing your mailing address as that property, then it is your primary residence and you should be able to receive that exemption for your property taxes. All right, so that is a quick rundown of what you can expect for property taxes here in Cedar City, Utah and Iron County. I want to thank Vereen Schaefer with Old Republic Title for helping me with some of this information. I was curious how it worked on the escrow officer's end, and she was great about responding and answering a few of my questions. So I will put her information down below in the description, as well as the link for the Iron County assessor's page in case you want to dig into this a little bit deeper. Of course, if you have any questions I didn't answer, please feel free to reach out to me. I am more than happy to answer those for you. If you are thinking of living in Cedar City, Utah or the surrounding areas, there is a Cedar City relocation guide down below in the description. That is a free download for you if you are interested in it. My name is Elizabeth Prisby. I am with Stratum Real Estate Group. I would love to help you make a move here to Cedar City, Utah. So please don't be afraid to reach out. My information is down below in the description. And as always, have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.